Hard to believe we're already 8 weeks through the high school football season and only 3 more to go. I'm J.D. Vaughn, along with Jeff Birchfield, Andrew Smith, Brian Woodson. We'll get right to Week 9 in high school football season in just a minute. But first, let's take a timeout to hear a word from our sponsor, Lazy J Farms Old Fashioned Butcher Shop.
Lazy J Farms has been raising the finest cattle and all-natural pork for 3 generations on the family farm in Fall Branch. Their blonde Aquitaine herd offers a leaner, healthier, and more tasteful beef. And the butcher shop is local, farm to table, and 100% authentic. This is the way your grandfather shopped for me, with steaks cut to order, quality assured, and ready to ship to your door. Open Thursday through Saturday on Bloomingdale Road in Kingsport. Come see us.
Week 8 of the high school football season is in the books. And now Week 7, if you're in Southwest Virginia, that, of course, was the location of our Six Rivers Media Game of the Week last week. Rye Cove gets the win 40-8 over Eastside. Brian, just a huge win for the War Eagles, their first ever 7-0 start.
Yeah, it was a closer game than the score indicates. It was 16-8 with 7 minutes to go, and then Eastside tried to do some things on fourth down and turned the ball over on downs, and Rye Cove kind of just wore them down with their size, and then they Carter Roach Hodge scored 3 touchdowns. One was the interception return that really put the nail in the coffin for them, and they played really. They just down the stretch, their size and their strength just took control, which is what you expect. And they did a nice job defensively. Also, Eastside's only touchdown was scored after a turnover, and Eastside had a freshman quarterback, and he had a rough night, obviously, against a team as a veteran as Rye Cove is, and then Landon Lane had his usual steady game. His touchdown in the third quarter, he was stopped at the line of scrimmage, everybody thought, but the only one who didn't think it was him. He kept turning, and he went all the way to the end zone. I mean, he got stopped, and it was probably 2-3 seconds, and they never blew the whistle. So Eastside kind of backed up, and next thing you know, he just kept going and went 46 yards for a touchdown. So pretty heads-up play, and that's the difference between a senior and a freshman who's still learning the game. But, yeah, they played real well, and they deserved to win. They needed a week off to heal up for the stretch run, too.
Yeah. Gary Collier, I hear he's put a lot of emphasis on the weight room and stuff like that is why.
Yeah. Yes, that's all right. Yeah.
So a big win for the War Eagles. A big win for Science Hill on Thursday. It was a Thursday night game. Jeff, of course, was out of town in Holly Springs, Mississippi, but I got to see it for myself. Science Hill's 4 horsemen, a balanced effort from Anderson, Mathis, and Perry. Just unbelievable game, an unbelievable season by Science Hill's 4 horsemen so far, and Thursday was no different. Science Hill gets the win 49-14 over Morristown East. Just a big win for Science Hill, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, Aiden Perry, another great game for him. I think 82 rushing yards, had the big 96-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Then Ian Mathis is one of our 5-star players of the week. He actually had just 5 carries, but had 73 yards and 2 touchdowns on that. Baylor Necessary really didn't have to do a whole lot as far as offensively. He still led the toppers, as far as their defense with 8 tackles. And then Cole Fleeman also had 8 tackles. And then the other of the 4 horsemen running back you're talking about, Malik Anderson, I think he also got on the scoreboard with a touchdown as well. But then Science Hill's balanced. I mean, it wasn't just all rushing. I know Spencer Taylor come out there and completed some big passes, so they're able to get, good effort from him. Then we mentioned Necessary's tackles. He also stripped the ball for a fumble, and also, I mean, good effort. A lot of players for Science Hill's really been stepping up this season. They get the week off before they take on Daniel Boone County rival here in the next Friday night.
Yeah. So just the Science Hill, this could set up a 1-game showdown with Dobyns-Bennett for the region championship, but we'll get to that later. Stay tuned. Andrew, the game you covered, Unicoi County gets the win at Volunteer, maybe a little closer than people thought, 41-27.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to Volunteer for a very strong effort from them. Having to go to the backup quarterback, Keelan Relford, and he showed out for the Falcons on Friday night. 16-27 for 198 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, threw a pick as well, but also had 18 carries for 93 yards. Just a little bit of everything. And, when we talked to Drew Rice after the game, head coach at Unicoi, he said, yeah, he was tough to stop. He was slippery. He made us have to be disciplined in our pass rush. There were times where we thought we may have had him, and he just kind of slipped out. So very strong effort from the backup quarterback at Volunteer. But We talk about Unicoi County. It feels like the conversation always starts with Colby Jones. No different this past Friday. We know him as a great passer, but my goodness, he was really able to showcase his running ability on Friday. 4 rushing touchdowns and 104 yards on the ground. Really just spearheaded that offense. Big sequence there late in the game. Fourth quarter, Unicoi County's up 2 scores. Volunteers driving down the field. Unicoi County gets a defensive stop on a 4th and long in the red zone. Turn it over. A couple plays later, Colby Jones, deep ball down the sideline, kind of ices the game, puts the Devils up 20. Volunteers still kept fighting. Credit to them. I feel like for them, they're winless, but they're better than their record shows right now. They're absolutely better than that 0 for record would show, and I would think they'll get at least 1 win, maybe more, here in the last couple weeks. Obviously not the easiest draw this week with Elizabethton, but they've got the talent and the belief that they can hang with teams, that they can pull an upset here or there. So keep your eye out for Volunteer. Not as easy as a win as you may think for an 0-6 team.
Yeah. Speaking of hanging with teams, West Ridge obviously eliminated from playoff contention now, but the Wolves hung with Jefferson County despite being outsized on the line, with Jefferson County having Nick Moore and guys like that. But West Ridge stays in the game. Just now, the problem is Jefferson County wide receiver Dakota Hahn set a school record, had 199 yards receiving on just 7 catches, no less. West Ridge could not keep up with him, and just Trey Frazier, he throws for nearly 300 yards, and Caleb Mabb, several big plays, a touchdown reception, and of course 92-yard kickoff return. West Ridge stays in it, but the Wolves eventually wear down. Jefferson County gets the win 48-34. West Ridge eliminated from playoff contention, unfortunately. So just a tough loss all around for the Wolves. Speaking of Elizabethton, Andrew, Rhett Slagle, holy cow, 21 of 21 for 284 yards, 4 touchdowns, a couple of rushing touchdowns as well, 70 yards. Zach Wallen leads the way in receiving yards. And, of course, Elizabethton gets the conference win at Northview Academy, 49-20. So a big win there for the Cyclones. Jeff, Tennessee High goes to David Crockett, gets the win 55-20. Maybe not so surprising Tennessee High got the win, but are you surprised they got it by 5 touchdowns like they did?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, David Crockett's been playing so well. I mean, we know going into the season, Hayden Shanley was telling us this is still a young team, and I think people have forgotten that a little bit because they've had such a strong start, But Tennessee High, very good football team this year. I know they had the bad loss to Greenville early in the season, which actually ended up turning out to be a win because it's forfeited back to them. But, I mean, Tennessee High's talented team. So, I think most people probably picked the Vikings to win. Like you said, the margin's a little bit surprising, but, Crockett, I think, still, on a good track, to finish the season out here.
Sure. Andrew, just a little Carter County report. Several Carter County teams playing their first game since Hurricane Helene came through. One of them, Hampton, goes to West Green, gets the win 38-0. Cloudland gets a shutout win over Jellicoe. Unaka doubles up Hancock County on the road. Happy Valley comes up short against South Green. So just what can you say about the way these Carter County teams, especially the ones that have played for the first time since Helene?
Yeah, no, I think it definitely stood out to me, especially with like Hampton and Cloudland really able to come out and just pitch shutouts. That's hard to do normally, but especially coming off a couple weeks where you haven't been able to play, being able to play such stout defense, be able to stay disciplined in your rush lanes, have disciplined run fills, very strong outing from the both of them. Obviously, that Hampton game, a big conference win for them, as both them and West Green entered play at 1-1, so definitely a big boost for the Bulldogs. And it was good to see Unaka get a good win there against Hancock as well. There may have been some questions about their defense a little bit, but they played well enough, and Brandon Repass did enough offensively for them to win fairly comfortably. And obviously that's a tough loss for Jeff's alma mater and Happy Valley. But, it's South Green's another good football team in 2A, so it's tough to see that winning streak go by the wayside for Happy Valley, but they're still in a pretty strong spot in the conference.
Yep. Cloudland and Unaka, of course, with conference wins there as well. Cloudland now with 35 straight conference wins, a streak that began in the year of our Lord, 2015. Let that sink in for a minute. Brian, Twin Springs goes up against Castlewood. Maybe their youth shows a little bit, and they come up a little short, 20-6. So is that just maybe youth showing up there for Twin Springs a little bit, or is maybe Castlewood just a little better than we thought? What are your thoughts on that?
I was a little surprised when I saw the score, but Castlewood has a new coach, and he's brought a new attitude, and they've struggled to win games at all here in the last few years. So I'm sure this was a big one for them. And Twin Springs is young, and Castlewood may just found the opportunity to finally get over the hump and get that win they've wanted so bad. Twin Springs played some pretty tough teams this year already, and it's tough to go in a place like Castlewood where, in recent years, Castlewood has been kind of struggling. And so you go in there and you think, well, this quote might be a win, but then Castlewood plays up and plays well, and they earned a win. They deserve to win. The only problem for Twin Springs now is they have to go to Eastside and play Eastside, and they are coming off a loss. They don't like losing twice in a row. But that's part of high school football, what happens. So.
Yeah, and a little bit on Twin Springs. Talked to Coach Warner after the game Friday night. I mean, one thing with them, they're battling a lot of injuries right now, so that's another big factor. I think they're down to their fourth string quarterback right now.
Wow.
Man. So now say that for Twin Springs. They don't back down from anybody. Just look at their schedule. So that's a look around the area. Week 8 of the high school football season. We'll be right back talking about Week 9. But right now, let's hear a word from Lazy J Farms.
The Lazy J Farms tailgate box offers great value all season long. Get 40 pounds of meat for only $116. That's 5 pounds of beef patties and 3 pounds of chicken breasts, 1 pound of thick cut bacon, 3 packs of premium beef hot dogs and 2 packs of Chicago dogs, and 4 pounds of thick cut pork chops, all for $116 at Lazy J Farms Butcher Shop in Kingsport. Visit us online at lazyjbeef.com.
This week, Six Rivers Media Game of the Week for Week 9, William Blount. Don't judge them by their record because they're going to Dobyns-Bennett. If there's any team that's learned not to overlook William Blount, it's Dobyns-Bennett. The Indians, with a win this week, they can set up a one-game showdown with Science Hill for the Big East Conference Championship. William Blount can shake things up a little bit should they defeat Dobyns-Bennett this week. Science Hill already has defeated William Blount, but William Blount can put itself in position for a home playoff game should they win this week and Science Hill beat Dobyns-Bennett as well. So this week could be a potential trap game for Dobyns-Bennett. But Joey Christian and the Indians coming off a bye week, a little bit healthier than they were going into the Elizabethan game. And let's hear from Joey Christian.
William Blount is a team that they're not scared of Dobyns-Bennett. I think historically they, have showed that. First of all, I think Coach Reeves does a great job down there. He really does. I thought he did a good job at Carnes years ago. They really, the way their offense and defense, and it's so unorthodox. So we can't, we told the kids this morning and told them last week and everything, we can't prepare you for everything they do. The things they do, so much stuff. Like we could watch film for the next 2 days, and I don't think we could show them everything that they've done, plus everything that they're going to do. It seems like they do a great job coming up with new wrinkles or new, formations or new this or that or blitzes or whatever it is every week. So it's just different all the time. So we've got to. We can't be prepared for everything they show. It's been over a month since we've been home, 3 weeks plus a bye. It'll be really nice to be back in the friendly confines of J. Fred. What more can you say when our fans and our student section is big and the band and all these type of things, that really plays in on a 16, 17-year-old kid's psyche and helps them a lot and everything, So it'll be good. Yeah, I guess we've decided in the region who the 4 playoff teams will be.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. We just don't know where everybody's going to be seated. So obviously this week and in 2 weeks we'll determine who's the 1 through the 4 seeds in the playoffs. But if we could win this, I think it would guarantee us to host a playoff game in November. So that's what we want to do. So, it's obviously a big game for that alone.
William Blount at Dobyns-Bennett this Friday. A big game in Region 1-6A. A big game in Region 1-5A, Jeff. Morristown West going to David Crockett. This one could be potentially for a home playoff game.
Yeah, we were talking about David Crockett coming off the loss to Tennessee High, but they've got the chance now to get right back on track against the Morristown West team, which I think they feel pretty confident they match up well with. I mean, we've talked before throughout the season, A.J. Wynn, the talent at quarterback, for David Crockett, got a couple of really good receivers there with LaMarcus Dunn and Zeke Sloan. So, Crockett, they're able to run the ball some, they're able to pass the ball. So I think they could present some matchup problems for the Trojans there.
Absolutely. A couple of games in Region 1-4A. Elizabethton on the road at Volunteer. Sullivan East on the road at Cherokee. This could be a battle of two of the area's top quarterbacks, Landon Jeffers from Cherokee and Peyton Lingerfelt from Sullivan East. The Patriots, of course, really, really need this win to stay in playoff contention, trying to get that final playoff spot. This could be one of their last chances to secure it. So a big game in Rogersville this week. Another big game, a top 10 battle, Gatlinburg-Pittman at Johnson County. GP already with the win over Unicoi County. And can anyone dethrone GP? Well, Johnson County has a chance to do it this week. Kickoff in Mountain City. It'll be a big game. Emotions running high in Mountain City, of course, after Hurricane Helene devastated them as well. Andrew, a big game in Carter County this week for first place in Region 1-1A. Cloudland's 35-game conference winning streak goes on the line against a 6-1 Cosby team. Where did these Eagles come from?
I don't know. I personally didn't really expect the Eagles to be as strong as they are, but my goodness, is going up to Rome Mountain have some challenges for anybody. And this Cloudland team, Grayson Cole at running back, really strong runner there. You mentioned it's a 35-game win streak for Cloudland in conference. Going up to Orfield, trying to end that streak, it'll be hard. I think Cosby will have their moments where they might be able to maybe pop an explosive play. That way they don't have to drive as far on a Cloudland team that just pitched a shutout. But ultimately, I think this Cloudland physicality will definitely play a big role in this game, and I think it'll wear down the Eagles as the night goes on up on top of the Roan.
Well, one thing about playing in Roan Mountain, it's going to be 10 to 20 degrees cooler than it is everywhere else.
Oh, absolutely it is.
So, Brian, one game in the Mountain 7 district, Gate City goes to Lehigh, a couple of teams trying to fight for their playoff lives at this point.
Yes, they are. Gate City had a week off to kind of prepare for the rest of the season and coming off a couple tough losses, so they should be ready to go. Lehigh has struggled, but they've got a new coach there who's trying to build things, and should be a tight game there up in Ben-Hur. It'll be cold there too, I'm sure, and it'll come down. It'll be close. I'd say come down to the final quarter. It should be a close game, and we'll see what happens. Both teams still have a shot at the playoffs, so they definitely need to get a win here, especially Gate City.
Oh, no doubt about it. Some other games around the region this week. West Green going to West Ridge for a non-conference game. Daniel Boot on the road at number 2 ranked Sevier County. Cocke County at Tennessee High. Number 7 Unicoi County hosting Claiborne. Happy Valley hosting Cumberland Gap. Unaka hosting North Green. Twin Springs on the road at Eastside. And then Monday, Hampton on the road at Unaka for their annual rivalry. So that's a look around the area for Week 9. Thank you once again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. And thank you to Lazy J Farms.
Lazy J Farms has been raising the finest cattle in all-natural pork for 3 generations. Our blonde Aquitaine herd offers a leaner, healthier, and more tasteful beef that ships from our store directly to your freezer. This is the way your grandfather shot for meat, only now we wrap it, seal it, and send it right to your door. We have plenty of options to pick from, and they're all fresh and natural. Just visit our website at lazyjbeef.com and choose your package. We'll get it straight to you.